Hello everyone and welcome to SimpliCode. Today we'll be discussing HTML Geolocation API. Before we start, I hope the screen is clearly visible and the audio is fine. If yes, please type in yes, and if there are any issues, then do let us know in the chat section so that we can resolve them. So let's wait for some more minutes so that some more people can join us. Until then, let me tell you guys that we have regular updates on multiple programming videos. So if you are a programmer and if you want to learn something new, then consider getting subscribed to our YouTube channel and press that bell icon to never miss any updates from SimpliCode. Great, I think we can get started. Now that we have a good idea about HTML, I guess we are good to take up some advanced level topics, right? Today's topic is something that depends on both HTML and JavaScript. Mostly on JavaScript to be honest. So in this video, we'll see how we can get the user's location coordinates. Location does play a vital role in some websites. For example, suppose you are working on a website that delivers food or grocery items. Now, what you can do is you can ask the user for their location and then integrate that information in such a way that it will make it easier for you to deliver the goods to the user. In simple words, we need the user's location. The plan is simple. We'll create a button. Now when the user clicks on the button, we can get the user's location coordinates, the latitude and the longitude. Fine. So let's start with the programming part directly. What we'll do is we'll create a button first. So we'll move to the body section of a HTML document. Now we can create a button in two different ways. We can either use the input tag in HTML or we can just use the button element present in HTML. This time we are going to use the button element. So we'll write over here button and let's name this button as get location. Fine. That's the easiest task for us. The button you can see over here on the browser. If I save this program, you can see the button over here. So this is our button. Now we are going to use the ID attribute over here. So we'll write over here ID and ID is going to be, let's say, get location. Okay, we have to write here location with an I. Save it. It won't make any change in the button. So the ID attribute we use here is to access the button using JavaScript. So we want something to happen on the button click, right? For that, we need to add events with the help of JavaScript. So let's move on to the JavaScript part without wasting any time. We'll add a script tag here only. You guys can use a different JavaScript file and then embed it in your HTML document as well. Now, what we'll do first is we'll add a reference to our button. So let's do one thing. We'll move to the section and we'll use the script tag over here. So here's a script. Let me close this as well. And here we go. So the script tag is here. Now we are using the script tag below our body tag. Now we'll first add a reference to our button. So the one we created in the HTML part, I'm talking about this particular button, the get location button. So what we are going to do is we are going to write here where get log. So we are going to create a variable. So let's say this is a variable and we'll write over here document dot get element by ID. So this is a method. Now our ID for this button is get location. So we'll mention it over here inside double quotes. So we'll write over here get location. Fine. We are asking the computer to access this particular button. So we are done with it. We created the variable which holds the reference of our button. The getElementById method in JavaScript is used to take references from the HTML element. Now, let's add an event listener here. So the event listener we'll create will give us the location of the user on clicking the button. So what we'll do is we'll write over here. After this, we are going to write get log. So this is a variable name dot add event listener. Now we are going to pass certain parameters. So we'll write over here click. Click is the event. It means that on clicking the button, we want something to happen. Fine. So we are done with it. We have created an event over here. The event will work by clicking the button we have. So let's save this program first and let's check if we have any error. To check any errors, right click on your browser window, go to inspect, go to console, and here you can see we have an error over here. It says failed to execute add event listener on event target. So it says we need two arguments, or this particular function needs two arguments, but only one is present. So we have only one argument, which is click over here. The second one we are going to bypass right now. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to tell the browser what to do on a button click. For that, we'll create a function. So let's do it here. What we'll do is we'll write over here a function. So we'll write over here, let's say the function name is event. We are going to use this arrow, and then we have the body of this function. Fine, so this is the body of this function. So we have used an arrow function here to create a function for us. The arrow function is an essential feature introduced in ECMAScript 6. We have a dedicated video on this topic in our YouTube channel. I want you guys to go through it, please. Now, the next step is to check if the browser you are using supports geo-navigation or not. It depends which browser you are using. So a simple way to do so is by using the if-else statement. So let's do it. What we'll do is we'll use the if-else statement. So we'll write over here if. Okay, so this is going to be the body of our if statement. So let's write the condition. So we'll write over here geo. Okay, we have to write here geolocation in navigator. Fine, so we'll write over here navigator. If geolocation is present in navigator, then something should happen, and we are going to define the else part as well. So this is our condition. If geolocation is present in navigator, so these two are objects. Else, something else will happen. If the browser supports geolocation, then we can proceed further to get the coordinates. And if the browser we are using does not support it, then we need to show it as well. So we'll do the else part first. Fine. So we'll write over here inside the else part, we are going to write over here console.log. So we are going to print something, let's say geolocation not supported. Fine. Okay, we have made a mistake. So we'll write over here geolocation not supported, and we are good to go with the else part. Now we have used two objects in the if statement, the geolocation and the navigator. Like the geolocation object should have to be a part of the navigator object. We'll now add a code in the if statement. So where we'll get the user's coordinates. We'll write over here inside the if statement. We'll move to the if statement of a HTML document, and we'll write over here. So let's give some space. Let's make it a clean document. So we'll write over here navigator dot geolocation dot get current position. So this is another function we are going to use. Now this statement over here will give us the user's latitude and longitude. Inside this we'll create another function with a parameter. It will also accept an error. So we'll write it down here like inside this navigator.geolocation.current position function, we are going to create a function. Let's name this function as POS, and we are going to create it like this. Then we have to give it an error as well. In case it doesn't work, we are going to create another function, and we are good to go. So we have two functions here. One is the error and the other one is the if we get the, we can get the coordinates, the user's coordinates within this particular POS function. Now we are good to go. Next up, we'll write inside the error function. So we'll write over here, let's do the error part first. If the user's device does not support geolocation or any if such thing happen, if the user denies the permission basically. So we'll write over here, okay, so we have to write it like this, console.log. Then we have to write here denied by the user, and then we'll put a comma and write here error.code. Fine. Now if the user gets a pop-up asking this website wants to know your location and the user denies it, then this error will be shown in the console. So we are done with everything except for getting the latitude and longitude of the user. For that part, we'll move to this navigator.geolocation.getCurrentPosition function. Inside this we have created another function which is POS. So we are going to take two variables. Let latitude is going to be the first variable, and let's just define the other variable as well first. So the other variable is going to be longitude, and that's it. Fine. So we are done with both the variables. We have two variables here. The latitude variable will hold the latitude value returned by the function, returned by a function. So let's write a method over here. So we'll write over here position dot coords. Okay, so we have to write here coords. Okay, dot latitude. Same goes for the longitude as well, and we are going to write here position dot coords dot longitude. Fine. So let's print them on the console now so that we can get the actual coordinates of the user. We'll write over here after this only. So we have these two variables. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to print them. So we'll write over here after this. So we'll write over here after this longitude. Okay, so here we are. We'll write over here console.log. So we are going to print them in the console. Now we'll write some text. The latitude is, we are going to print the latitude. So the latitude variable will hold the value of the exact latitude. So we'll write over here latitude. The same goes for longitude as well. So we'll write over here console.log. The longitude is longitude, longitude. So we have these two variables. Now let's print one more thing. Let's print both of them together so that it will be easy for you guys to carry them from one place and paste them in a different place. So we'll write over here latitude comma longitude. Okay, so we have written over here longitude. So we have to write here longitude. So this is a mistake. I got it. Yeah. So here we have to write here longitude. Fine. So we are good to go. Now save the program and let's see if we find any errors. So there is no issue as of now. Let's see if this thing works or not. So here you can see we have this button present over here on the browser. Now we have the console opened over here as well. Now click on the button and here you can see uncaught reference error, position is not defined. So let's see in which line this error is. So let me check. So here is the error. Now the error is we have to write here POS only. So we'll do the same for longitude as well. Save it now, I hope. So here you can see we have the latitude and the longitude of the user. So this is my latitude and longitude actually. So these are my coordinates at this particular point of time. Now one thing we can do is we can deny the permission. So let's say reload the page, click on get location and it says denied by the user and 1 here is the error code. Let's do one thing. Let's give the permission again. So we'll do this from here. We are going to give it the permission for location. Now click on get location and here you can see the latitude is and the longitude is. These are the latitude and longitude side by side. So you can see we have the latitude and longitude here of the user. Now what we can do is we can copy these coordinates. So I'm specifically talking about these two. We can copy these two from here. We can paste them in Google Maps to get the location of the user. Now I want you guys to do it independently and let me know if you're getting something different in the output. Another thing we can do apart from getting the longitude and latitude of the user is we can also get the altitude. But it happens only if the altitude value is present. In this case, if I try to print altitude, then it will give us a null as output. So let's do it once. Let's do it quickly. So we'll write over here let altitude. So let's consider it a variable. We are going to write here pos.coords.altitude. Fine. Now we are going to print it. So we'll write over here console.log and we'll just write here altitude, comma altitude. This is a variable name. Fine. Save it now, click on the button and here you can see it says altitude is null. Fine, so now it will work fine. Here you can see it says altitude as null because altitude does not hold any value as of now. So we can do many things with geolocation and maps in HTML and JavaScript, but I don't want you guys to get confused about that. So we'll cover them in another session where we'll embed Google Maps with HTML. If you feel that we have missed out on some important topics that we were supposed to cover in this particular tutorial, then please feel free to drop them down in the comment section below and we'll have our questions answered. Also, we'll consider every suggestion provided by you guys. So with that, this is Kaushal signing off until next time. Thank you.